I'm going to present you the topic. My name is Ortis Fakilou. I am from L1, and I'm going to present you the topic cinema versus movies at home. So, we'll begin. Actually, cinema has always been a great way to escape our reality and our everyday lives and enter a new world of magic, I would say. And I believe that's why cinema is still popular and will probably always be, because it takes people to a novel experience, an adventure, and introduces them to a whole new world. However, nowadays cinema's popularity has been decreased, and this could be due to the ease of watching a movie at home, or it could also be the result of economic crisis in countries like Greece, for example. And actually, cinema's popularity being decreased is a problem that calls for a solution. And what producers and companies do in order to solve this problem is actually to try to persuade more people to go to the cinema to watch the movie they produce. And they sometimes do some things that are against the director's first view of the movie, because the director is actually responsible for all the essential things of the movie. For example, how it's going to be shot or whether there's going to be any changes in the script. But sometimes companies and producers make changes, and it actually affects both the directors and writers, and also the people who want to see the movie. Now, as far as it concerns the advantages and disadvantages of watching movies at the cinema, I believe that the advantage of watching a movie at the cinema is that it has better quality. For example, we enjoy the movie more than we would probably watching it at our house, because the cinema has a bigger screen and better sound. So that's one major factor why. That's a major factor of watching movies at the cinema. And another advantage of watching movies at the cinema is that the fact that you can socialize with other people and have discussions concerning the movie, as well as a better atmosphere. And now the disadvantage of watching a movie at the cinema is, of course, the cost of the tickets, and the fact that sometimes it may not be very convenient. For example, you can't have a pause whenever you want to, or you can't rewind something to watch it again. And the last one, which I think is the most annoying, is that people around you may disturb you, may talk or use their phones. It actually happened to me one time that people were talking to the screen, which was really annoying, like to the actors or something. Now, the advantages and disadvantages of watching movies at home is basically the same thing. The advantage of watching a movie at home is the fact that we don't have to pay unless we actually want to rent a movie, but most people download movies nowadays. It's more comfortable and convenient, and you can have a break whenever you want to. And now the disadvantages, you can't enjoy the movie so much because of the quality. It's not like the quality at the cinema. And you may not have the opportunity to talk about the movie or have discussions about the movie, concerning the movie, unless you actually watch the movie with your friends or your family. Now, my personal opinion, I personally believe that cinema will always be a popular way, will always be popular, and will always be a way for people to escape their reality and their daily lives, and actually enter a new world of fantasy, horror, love, sadness, or laugh at the same time. And I believe that's the main reason why cinema will always remain and will always be a way to escape reality. And now I have some slides about some movies that are in categories. The first one is fantasy and science fiction. We have The Lord of the Rings, and which is actually a trilogy, one of my favorite fantasy trilogies. It's the first movie, The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, then The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, and The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. And then we have Interstellar, which is actually directed by Christopher Nolan, who is one of my favorite directors. He also directed Inception, the last movie on the right. And the only European film in this category is Pan's Labyrinth, which is actually directed by Spanish filmmaker Guillermo del Toro. And I personally believe it's a great way, it's a great movie. And it's about fantasy and how a little girl named Ophelia escapes her reality and all the things happening around her, because it's about the Spanish War, and I believe it's a great movie. And then we have The Martian, which is a 2015 movie, directed by Ridley Scott, and starring Matt Damon. And it's about a team of astronauts who actually go on a space exploration, and something happens, and this poor guy remains on Mars. So the whole team have to decide whether or not they're going to save him. And I believe it's a really nice movie as well. And then I have in the middle Star Wars, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. Actually, not the prequels trilogy, the original trilogy. And the first movie was in 1977, as Miss Linda knows.
Because I went...
Respect, go on, respect, go on.
And we also have The Matrix, which I believe it's a great trilogy of movies, but I don't really like the third one. I really like The Matrix and The Matrix Reloaded. The Matrix Revolutions not so much. And we also have Harry Potter, which is actually 8 films. It's 7 books, but they actually were adapted in 8 films. And Pirates of the Caribbean. So I go on.
Yeah, please do. We're so much enjoying it.
Then we have horror thriller, it's a category. And these are the movies I really enjoy the most. We have Gone Girl, which is directed by David Fincher, who also directed Zodiac, and is one of my favorite directors of all time. And in the middle we have The Shining, directed by Stanley Kubrick, starring Jack Nicholson. And we also have Shutter Island, directed by Martin Scorsese, starring Leonardo DiCaprio. I believe all these are great movies. And one of my favorite actually is Gone Girl. I believe it's one of my favorite, and The Da Vinci Code. And the next category is romance. I have actually my favorite movies from this category are Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, starring Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet, and Amélie, which is a great movie, one of my favorites in general, not just in romance category. And also Titanic, directed by James Cameron, if I'm not mistaken. And yes, the others are pretty much some honorable mentions, they're not my favorite movies. And the last one, no, I think this is a comedy. I don't really like those movies actually, but I believe that these are the better from this category. I really like Horrible Bosses and Ted. And the last category is drama. I actually tried to contain all my favorite movies. The Help, V for Vendetta, and Fight Club and The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo are both directed by David Fincher, who's my favorite director. And The Pianist is actually a pretty nice film because it talks about it's about the Jews in Poland, I think, and how they were treated by Germans. and it's a pretty nice film. Actually, that's it. Then it's this one, Picture for Discussion, and keep going.
Congratulations from the bottom of my heart. You did much better than I would have done it.
Excellent.